Hi and welcome. Today we are going to solve some AB calculus question. We will focus on question about derivatives and also we'll solve two or three questions about limits. So first we will solve multiple choice question, then we will jump to the free response question. So the first question say a curve is defined by parametric equation x of t equal 3 to the power 2t and y of t equal 3 to the power 3t minus 1. What is the second derivative of y with respect to x in terms of t? Since we have parametric equation, we have to use the third shape of the chain rule. So the third shape of the chain rule states that when we have two parametric equation, in order to find the derivative of y with respect to x, we have to divide the derivative of y with respect to t by the derivative of x with respect to t. Now, since they ask us for the second derivative, we'll use the same rule, but we'll instead of derivative of y with respect to t, we'll make it the second derivative. First step is to find second derivative of y with respect to t. We do that from exponential function derivative rule. So we found the first derivative 3e to the power 3t. Then we apply the derivative again and we will get 9e to the power 3t. First step done. Let's jump to the second step. We will find the derivative of x with respect to t. Sorry, there's a mistake. I should write derivative of x with respect to t. So 6e to the power 2t is the first derivative. Apply the derivative again and we get 12e to the power 2t. Now divide the two results. 9 over 12, 3 over 4. When we have same base and different power, when we divide them, we just subtract the power, so we'll get 3 over 4 times e to the power t, which is d. So let's move to the second question. Here we have a limit question, but if you try to substitute, it will be 0 minus 0 over 0 plus 0, which is undefined. So here you can factor or play with the function, but we will use the easiest method, which is L'Hopital. So L'Hopital say that if we have a limit of any function divided by other function, and we take the derivative of up and the derivative of down and we apply the same limit, we will get the same answer. So if we take the derivative of up, 7x minus sine x, it will be 7 minus cosine x, and derivative of down, it will be 2x plus 3 cosine 3x. Now just substitute x with 0 and we will get 7 minus 1 over 3, 0 plus 3, 6 over 3, which is 2. So the correct answer is B. Also, using L'Hopital, you can take the second derivative, the third derivative, and you can only use L'Hopital when you get 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Let's move to the third question. Now, they said, if f of x equals sine ln of 2x, then f prime of x. So here, you have to use the chain rule. The chain rule say, if we have two composite function, we take the derivative of outside and we leave the inside the same, then we multiply it by the derivative of the inside. So sine ln 2x, it will be cosine ln 2x. So here is our chain rule. And the derivative of the inside, ln 2x, it will be derivative of inside 2 times the derivative of outside 1 over 2x. The 2 will cancel with the 2. Then we will get our final answer, which is cosine ln 2x over x. So the correct answer is B. Now our fourth question. Our fourth question, we have the question say the cost in dollars to share the confidential document of a company is modeled by C, a differentiable function of the weight of document and bound. Of the following, which is the best interpretation of C prime of 500 equal 80? Now, you should understand that the derivative is the slope, and the derivative is the rate of change. So let's read the answers. A. The cost shared 500 pound of document is 80. No, because it's C prime, not C. B. Say the average cost to share document is 80 over $500 per pound. This is wrong. We don't have enough information to tell that this is true. C. Say increasing the weight document by 500 pound will increase the cost shared the document by approximately 80. Well, this is wrong, because this means the slope, and we need 2 points to prove that this is right. So we'll move to D, and it should be the correct answer. D say the cost to share document is increasing at the rate of $80 per pound when the weight of the document is 500 pound. So what this is it says the definition of the rate of change. So the rate of change equals the derivative. So they gave us the derivative of 500, which is 80. So the correct answer clearly is D. Let's move to the next question. Now this question talk about continuity. The graph of function f is shown in the figure above. How many values of x in the open interval from -4 to 4 is f discontinuous? So let's move from -4 to 4. So -4 is okay, -3 is okay. We reach -1. We have a discontinuous point. So here's our first discontinuous point. From -1 till 1, so we have our second discontinuous point, which is 1. It's true that we have 2 open circle, but at this point we only have 1 point of discontinuity. And then we move to 2, and there is our third point of discontinuity. From 2 to 4, there is the function is continuous. So we have a total of 3 discontinuous points. So the answer is C. Now, this question, they gave us 3 graphs, and they want from us to know which one is f, which one is f prime, and which one is f prime prime, or the second derivative. So in this type of question, you have many ways to figure it out. For me, I prefer to check for the horizontal tangent, or the area, or the point where we have a slope of 0. So when we have a horizontal tangent, of course the derivative graph will be at 0. So let's check the first one. We have here a point where y equals 0. So we will check the other graphs where if any graph has at this point a horizontal tangent. So the graph 2 doesn't have a horizontal tangent at this point, but clearly graph 3 has a horizontal tangent. From this we conclude that graph 1 is the derivative of graph 3. Now we want to check more to know which one, to see if 2 is the third derivative, the second derivative, or it's f of x. Now we will see at 3 that there is a 0 point at x equal 5. We will check 2. If there is a horizontal tangent at x equal 5, then 3 is the derivative of 2. Let's check the graph of 2, and we have a horizontal tangent. That means that 3 is the derivative of 2, and 1 is the derivative of 3. Therefore, 2 is f, 3 is f prime, and 1 is f prime prime. So the correct answer is C. You can also check where the slope is or the graph is decreasing, and check where the graph has a negative value. You have many techniques, but for me I prefer this way of finding which graph is the derivative. So our next question. The table above gives selected value of a differentiable and decreasing function f and its derivative. if g is the inverse function of f, what is the value of g prime 2? So here we need to apply the formula of inverse function to find the derivative of inverse function. As we know, this is the formula. They said that f inverse is g of x, so g prime of x equal 1 over f prime of f inverse of x. So to keep it similar to the question, g prime equal 1 over f prime of g of x. Now we need to find g prime of 2, so 1 over f prime of g of 2. Now this might be tricky because g of 2 is not given in the table, but g of 2 is the inverse function. When x and the inverse function is 2, that means in the original function the value of y is 2. So check where f of x equal to 2, it's at x equal 1. So g of 2 is 1. Now let's move 1 over f prime of 1 from the table. F prime of 1 equal to minus 5. So the answer is minus 1 over 5, which is A. This question say the local linear approximation to the function g at x equal half is y equal 4x plus 1. What is the value of g of half plus g prime of half? This question might be the easiest question. For g of half, you just have to substitute. 4 times half is 2 plus 1 is 3. G prime, we need to take the derivative. The derivative of this function is 4 for all points. So, as we said, it will be 3 plus 4, which is 7. So the answer is D. Now, this question. The temperature in degree Fahrenheit of water and bond is modeled by function h given by h of t equal 55 minus 9 cosine 2 pi over 365 times t plus 10, where t is the number of days since January 1, t equals 0. What is the instantaneous rate of change of the temperature of the water at time t equal 90 days? This question, he wants the instantaneous rate of change. Instantaneous rate of change is equal to the derivative at t equal 90. This question comes in the calculator section. So you can easily put it in the calculator and put t equal 90 and you will get the final answer. But since we studied the lesson of derivative, we'll practice and we'll find the derivative of this function. So derivative of 55 is 0 minus 9 cosine, derivative of cosine minus sine, and we take the inside, derivative of the inside, we multiply it by the outside. We will get 18 pi over 365 sine, and the inside will remain the same. Now substitute in the calculator, and you will get 0.1453. So the answer is B. Now, this question. They gave us a formula, a velocity formula, and they want the value of t where the acceleration of the particle equal to 0. So maybe this question come in other form where they say when the acceleration graph has a horizontal tangent. So they are the same question. So let's find the acceleration. Now we know that the acceleration is the derivative of velocity. This question has this function has two functions multiplied by each other, so we need to use the product rule. In order to find the derivative, you have two ways: either to use the product rule or to expand. But expanding will take a lot of time, and you may fall in mistake. So let's take the derivative first. We apply the product rule. Then we also need to apply the chain rule. So the derivative of t minus 2 squared is equal to 2 times t minus 2 times the derivative of the inside is 1. As you can see, we'll follow the product rule and we get this function 3t squared minus 18t plus 24. Now in order to find the point, we just make it equal to 0 and we have a quadratic equation. Just use the quadratic formula and we get t equal 2 or t equal 4. So the answer is C. So the graph of function f and g are shown above. The value of limit x reaches 1 of f of g of x. First we need to find the limit when x reaches 1 of g of x. So this question might be tricky because the limit is not the exact value, it's where the function reach. So limit when of x reaches 1 is 2, not 1. So f of 2 from the graph is 3. So the answer is C. So now we will continue on the free response type of question. So this question, they gave us the equation for the curve y cubed minus 6y equal to, and they gave us the formula for the slope y over 3y squared minus 6. So if you have a point such as 2 and 3 for example, so just substitute and you will get the value for the slope. So in part A, they want from us to find the equation for the line tangent to the curve at given point, minus 1 and 1. First step to find the equation of tangent line is to substitute. So we have the value of y1 and value of x minus 1. We just put the values and we will get 1 over 4. So 1 over 4 is m, which is our slope. This is the first step. The second step is to use the formula y minus y1 equal m of x minus x1. We have the point minus 1 and 1, and here we will have our formula. Now, let's move to the other part. We will solve part C also. So here we want the second derivative at the point on the curve where x equal minus 1 and y equal 1. So here we have the first derivative ready. So in order to find the second derivative, just apply the derivative rules for the first derivative. So here maybe the hard thing is that we have an implicit function where we have y and x. Just apply the derivative rules. Then after you find the derivative, substitute by the given values for x and y, and then the final answer will be 1 over 32. So don't forget, when you apply the derivative for y with respect to x, you need to write dy over dx. So the next question, the function f and g have continuous second derivative. The table above gives value of the function and their derivative at selected value of x. So they give us for each value for each value of x, it's value of f of x, or its y value. Now, part A, they said if k of x equal f of g of x. So we have a composite function. They want the equation for the line tangent to the graph of k at x equal 3. In order to find the line tangent to the graph, we need to find the slope. In order to find the slope, we need the chain rule. Chain rule, derivative of the outside times the derivative of the inside. We will get f prime of g of 3 times g prime of 3. G of 3 equals 6, so f prime 6 times g prime of 3. And we will get 5 times 2 equals 10. Now, after we get the value of m, which is the derivative, and at the same time the slope, we'll apply this formula. Y minus y1 equal m times x minus x1. Substitute the values. From the table, we clearly can see that we can find the value of y because the value of x is given. So f of g of 3 equal f of 6, which is 4. So 1 minus 4 times 10 to the power times 10 times x minus 3. You can leave the equation this form, but if you want to continue, you will get y equal 10x minus 26. So also we have part B. Part B say, let h of x equal g of x over f of x. Find h prime of 1. In order to solve this problem, you just have to apply the quotient rule. So the quotient rule is high prime times low minus low prime times high over low squared. As you can see, h prime equal g prime of x f of x minus d of x f prime of x over f of x squared. We have all the, we can get the value from the given table, and our final answer will be minus 3 over 2. Now, this type of question might be new, but it's a simple question. They give us the equation dy over dx equal y squared over x minus 1. Whenever you see dy over dx alone on one side, that means the other side is the formula for the slope. So part A, on the axis provide a sketch slope field for the given differential equation at the 6 point indicated. So if you didn't understand what to do here, you have 6 points. For example, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. Just substitute the value of y and x and you will get the value of the slope. After you get the value of slope, just to draw a line with that slope that you get. So if you want to see how the answer will be, but let's try the point 0, 0. We just substitute for y0 and x0. So we'll get 0 squared 0 over 0 minus 1. So we'll get 0 over minus 1, which is 0. So the slope at 0, 0 will be 0. So as we said, we found the slope here is 0. Just apply the same concept for other point and you will get the line. Now, we will solve part B. Part B said, let y equal f of x be a particular solution to given differential equation with the initial condition f of 2 equal 3. So they gave us a point, x equal 2 and y equal 3. Write an equation for the line tangent to the graph y equal f of x at x equal 2. Use your equation to approximate f of 2.1. First, we need to, in order to find the line tangent equation, we need the slope. To find the slope, we need to use the formula at the beginning of the question. We have x equal 2, y equal 3. So 3 squared over 2 minus 1, we get 9. Then we use y minus y1 equal m times x minus x1. So we have our equation. Now the final part of the question say that we want to find f of 2.1 for this line. We just substitute the value with for x and we get 3.9. So basically when you see dy over dx, that means this is the formula of the slope. Now this question, they gave us a formula for the velocity of the particle, which is 1 plus 2 sine 2 squared over 2. Part A, at time t equal 4, is the particle speeding up or slowing down? In order to know that if a particle is speeding up or slowing down, we need to know the sign of both, the velocity and the acceleration. In order to know the velocity at time equal 4, just substitute and get it by the calculator. We get 2.97. Now if we want the acceleration, we have to take the derivative. So you can't just do the derivative by calculator, but we will do it here. So the derivative will be 0 plus 2t, the derivative of inside, times cosine t squared over 2. So to substitute the value, we'll get minus 5.2. Since velocity is positive, acceleration is negative, opposite sign, so the object is slowing down because it's moving in a positive velocity and its acceleration is negative. So slowing down is the answer. Now in part B, they want from us to find the time when the particle changes direction. We just have to find the value of t when v of t equals 0. So thank you for watching. This is the end of the video, and thank you.